What's going on, workforce? Brian here.
Chris here.
And wow, like guys, we've come to the end of an epic long weekend. FanFest, the virtual FanFest kicked off, and honestly, I have to say, right at the start of this video, from the bottom of my heart, welcome back, Soken. The news was given to me while I was streaming, and then offline, I went and watched that video, and it was just brought down to tears. And I just wanted to kind of say that at the start of this video, that is such a holy freaking crap moment. It really reminds me of just how lucky we are as a 14 community that these devs not just care for us, the players, but care for each other. And Yoshi P's best friend Soken. It's like, anyway, I'm gonna get teary-eyed. We're gonna move on. Chris,
yes,
FanFest, let's focus in on the fun stuff. Let's focus in on the news. How do we feel going into a whole week, which I'm sure we're going to be just topics galore.
I'm exhausted. We just did a giant party. I was live for 16 hours of it and would have been live more.
Yeah.
The first day I didn't know what to do, so I just kind of ended stream so I could watch. The second day we had more of a plan. Once we adjusted to the news that we couldn't stream the event.
Yeah, that was.
I feel like we went.
Yeah.
I feel like we went. I feel as
like
close as humanly possible.
And I'm sleeping in my own bed.
I wasn't. Because I was coming to bed at 4 and 5 in the morning, so I was sleeping in the guest room. I mean, it literally it was like being there. I'm exhausted.
Yeah,
and in a good way. I would say day one for me was all about the game. It was all about the devs. Thank you to the devs. Thank you to this game. What an astounding thing we play. What an amazing direction it's headed. And day two was all community. It was glamour-based stuff. It was community events centered on irregular tombstones, getting in game. It was the Who Wants to Be a Gillionaire thing, a Primals concert. It was, for me, the second day was all, this isn't just a game of some cool devs that we play. This is something that we're a part of. And so what an amazing weekend. Bummed there's not two more, but there's so much more about 6.0 I want to know.
Yeah.
The Q&A didn't really answer anything 6.0 related. The interviews didn't really answer anything 6.0. Outside of the keynote, it really wasn't very much 6.0 based, which is not uncommon out of the first or second FanFest. But like usually by the third one, we're getting answers to questions we've had based on the first and second one, and we're kind of jumping to the end here.
I think there's a couple of things, and I'm going to look into and lean into this just from the excited mindset that I have, because yes, you're right. Typically, yes, the questions and Yoshi P will always address it in the current 5.5 expand, 4.55, all of that, if looking from a history perspective. But basically what's going to be unfolding over the next couple of weeks is interviews will be flowing out. There's always these extra things that allow for that extra context, and hopefully Yoshi P and the people who are interviewing him are getting those questions. What I mean by that is we've already seen one interview come out from Game Watch.
He's given those during those 30-minute breaks. When we're all like going to get a bathroom and food and whatever, he's still working.
Boop, 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 boop. Oh man, the guy's a machine. And honestly, like the whole, like that, it shows it just from obviously the ending statement. But what I mean by that is that when we look at what we can expect with Endwalker, like the amount of content, like it's already coming out that there's going to be it's going to be the most voiced expansion to date. It's going to be the most voice acted expansion to date. From a content perspective, it's ending the story. I think it's going to be something that we step into, and it's just going to be ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. And I wonder if they're targeting that 40-hour block of content with cutscenes, or if we end up seeing and saying like, you know what, we're just going to have to make this one a little longer so we nail all the points. I'm not ultimately sure, but
it's the finale.
It's the finale. Mm-hmm.
So what if they said 6.1 is a brand new story.
Yeah.
What if 6.0.5 was the finale? What if we had two finales?
Like a transitional, what
if we had a half patch?
Post-credit scene?
Yep. What if we had a half patch weeks after?
Maybe the half patch. Okay, let's speculate, everybody.
I don't know. This is just straight up speculation.
But welcome to the zone. You guys are in it. But you're right. What would happen in that theoretical
we're breaking
patch?
The formula,
right?
So let's
what would happen in that theoretical patch? Like that patch in my mind, when you said that, is pandemonium. It is the raid. The raid's going to drop, and then the savage raid. They give time that from when the expansion drops, so people can enjoy it. And in theory, based off of just this year alone and how things are going and just throwing it, the formula has changed due to necessity, but also just for volume. Yeah, you could see them drop that as a part of that Savage as a transitional into whatever this next story is. The thing that I'm most curious about, oddly enough, not necessarily is that people come to me for raid advice, is the raid. It's Pandemonium. Pandemonium, and then the myths of the realm. Myths of the realm. Like, they announced 2 raids that I am I'm most sad about. That I don't know why I got that weird Texas accent.
Mo Raines, guys. Go follow Mo Raines.
And so at the core of it, like, that in and of itself is like, has me hyped. From the beginning, we've picked our guardian deity. They used to give us a bonus, and then 2.0 came around and they just peaced out. What's been going on?
Do you know your god? Do you know which of the 12 you picked?
I did. Like, I couldn't tell you.
I'm
like,
Virgo the Builder.
You're the builder. Oh, you're a freaking like
the builder.
You're not officially an architect, but you're a master's of an architect. I know there's a difference. I have a brother who has his license. It's like, there is a difference. And so it's so freaking hyped. Like, that is what I have to try to temper, right? Let me primal, like, temper myself to the primal of patience and slow, easy steps.
Oh, you're tempered by this game.
Oh, hands down.
You're tempered.
Hands down. Have you tried Final Fantasy XIV? No, free trial with critically acclaimed. You guys got to come play this. Absolutely. It's like, Brian, like, don't put me in the same room as like any of the WoW streamers. It's like, hey guys, 14. Sorry. We're having fun here. I'm so excited for the raids for this next expansion.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, like, okay, let's throw out the content. Reaper, holy freaking crap. That I think is kind of that walk-off mic drop moment. Hands down, just from a numbers perspective, we don't really care about the numbers all that much. We do appreciate when you guys subscribe to the channel. But at the core of it, we've seen like all of our guides and like Reaper, I think in and of itself, Sage is something I'm really looking forward to. But at Reaper, there's an aesthetic there. I think it speaks to like somebody who's looking at this game going like, okay, like, maybe Dark Knight seems like what I would like or equate from another game that I enjoy. But then Reaper's coming in and it's looking freaking insane.
Hyped.
Yeah.
My brother doesn't play this game anymore. He watches creators that talk about other games. And I went and broke bread with him today, and we painted some Warhammer minis and watched the Mortal Kombat movie. That was my post FanFest time, and he said, "Reaper's looking good."
Reaper's looking good.
Like, how do you... So we're getting 2 jobs. Oh, you are? I just heard about Reaper.
Heard about Reaper.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's what we've seen. Like, so for y'all, like, that's what we've seen just in our analytics alone. Like, all of a sudden it's like, how can I start? Because that's the real key. If you're new here to the community and to the game, welcome. We're really glad you're here. If you need anything, just ask, because that's the whole point. But I think Reaper is a real big selling point. Male Vieira also, I'm so happy I was wrong about that. I did not ever see that coming. I still, though, like, not to go like full like, oh, we didn't get this. Like, I still was hoping for like a limited job summer. Like, when I look at like, going from the Relic, which the Relic systems they announced, talking about how like you basically have a whole merit system with the medal, like after cap, I go, thank you. Like, that's so important to me as a player. I'm a weird nerd. And so I'm excited that is coming in place, but I was like, it would be cool to have a limited summer, like, I don't know why. I just was like, that is something I'm looking forward to. But I think that's going to obviously, based off of what we've learned, they're not announcing anything, I think, big like that happening to the game until after 6.0. So it's going to be something that we might see in the 6 point lead up to the 7 point something. In my mind, I think it's just, we're going to have a big gap in any kind of limited job.
So,
yeah,
I mean, so big things missing this weekend.
Okay.
Job action trailer. You and I knew we weren't getting it, but I saw it consistently as I was watching the stream in the comments. Job action trailer comes to that media event that was announced between September and November. We didn't know if there'd be a media tour or if they'd do something more community team based where they'd have a little more in-house control, because obviously they can't just go rent out venues and have people come and know that that's going to go off without a hitch. So there will be at least some form of a media tour. That's where they invite in people like IGN, Kotaku, things like that, but also traditionally your bigger creators, like Mr. Happy, as well as creators who maybe aren't as known in the community. So like Daniel the Demon, comic story, and people who have an interest in the game, but aren't traditionally associated with it. Reddit had a representative go. We got invited. And so like it's a whole spectrum of people. So we don't know what that media tour is going to look like this time. I don't know if there's going to be, there was several across the world last time. The European one was more mainstream outlet based. The NA one was more, that's where your job action trailer is going to come out. Mm-hmm. That's where that's going to get released. That's where we're going to get a chance to maybe start to see what Male Vieira look like, see all the different Fantasia options, more detail on this stuff. So we know from this weekend that they haven't even finished naming the abilities. The no streaming this weekend, just to kind of address that. That was the big elephant in the room. I assume that's them trying to protect from DMCA. I assume with Twitch now enforcing DMCA because copyright holders are saying you can't just be letting our stuff go out willy-nilly. Final Fantasy can say, listen, we've got all sorts, we're doing all this stuff protected. If Twitch has an issue, we're big enough that their people can talk to our people and it can all get handled. We don't want fans of the game trying to share hype around this event and losing their channels on Twitch. So we're just going to make a hard rule and protect. And of course, yes, I can be disappointed about it and still feel like it's a logical choice. It's a bummer. And I think that's the bad news. So to get to the good news, the big winners this weekend, looking back, Oceanic
server,
the single biggest news that if this event had been canceled, we knew we'd get Endwalker. We knew it'd be sometimes toward the end of this year. We know it has MSQ. We know it has a raid series and alliance. Like, it's great to know kind of the names. It's great to know Oceanic is massive. And then Male Vieira. Like those are, in my opinion, are the two big winners that if this event had never happened, we would have been like, no.
And while we don't have a date on Female Harath, the fact that they got ahead of that and addressed it, and that's great because it's like,
we know it's coming.
I've seen people like, like look disappointed, and it's like, I get it. Like, you didn't get the thing that you wanted. Like, I'm going to sit here and focus in on what we are getting. Pandemonia, we're getting Mist of the Realm, we're getting Reaper. Honestly, at the end of the day, like, I don't think Summoner can win for me. Like, I think no matter what changes they make to the job, I'm going to be excited. I'm going to check it out. But I think hands down, I have to be Reaper first through the MSQ into Endwalker. I think that's just going to be something I choose to do. We'll see how that plays out because obviously we'll learn more over the course of the summer, more or less the fall. And yes, I've seen people say that I'm with you. Like winter kicks off on the solstice, so as long as it comes out before December 21st, that's technically the fall. So they're making it in before December in that regards, and we'll see. And Julie told me, I don't know if we have any Outlander fans in the community, but she's like, the next book of Outlander's coming out on that same day. Who's gonna win? And so I told her, I was like, well, if they give you early access on the 19th for Outlander, well, let me know because we'll figure it out. But if not, then I'll do the 19th, the 23rd, and then I'll watch the kids and you can read the Outlander book, and then you got to tell me either what's going to happen because I'm gonna have to wait years to watch that when it comes out on TV. So anyway, I know that's a random aside, but hopefully you guys enjoy that fact about what goes on in my house.
Yeah, I think obviously with Thanksgiving, the U.S. is like, well, thank God for the 19th versus the 23rd. But that, I blocked out from my calendar. What is that, like a Thursday or Friday or something like that?
Yeah.
Through that following Wednesday, because that next Thursday is a federal holiday.
Yeah.
And it's a big holiday here in the U.S. and it's a big holiday about family, people that it's really hard to say, I'm going to play a video game.
I'm going to go play a game. Really?
I was able to do it last year because I was like, I'm playing a video game to protect you.
Yeah.
That's less.
We know you got vaccinated.
Now that I'm vaccinated.
We know you got vaccinated.
Yeah. We know you got your shot. So they that has less of a ring to it when there's people in my life that I haven't seen in a while. So that's going to be tough.
But let's talk about the good thing outside of that. Okay, yeah, you play a little bit. Raid series again dropping going into like the winter holiday where things for at least in my industry. What's up?
What are you going to do with all the extra time? So right now we have your regular Tomestones of Pageantry. We have a couple events. You and I don't need the 15 event. I'm really stoked that it's coming back around in September for people that missed it.
Yeah.
But you and I don't need it.
Right.
So like, what are you going to do with 5 or 6 months here Not 8 because we can't count when we're not sleeping. But what are you going to do with whatever that time is between now and November 19th?
Have you heard about the critically acclaimed Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis?
Is it critically acclaimed?
It is to me. Like, it is to me.
Okay. Because I hear the Final Fantasy XIV is critically acclaimed.
Oh, yeah. I only play critically acclaimed games. I'm a very snooty gamer. It's like, is it not critically acclaimed?
My favorite quotes lately have been critically acclaimed and such devastation. My least favorites have been pray return
to the Waking Sands.
Sorry, this plot is not available.
Yeah.
This plot is not available for purchase at this time.
But in all seriousness, it gives me the ability, because I've been joining you on stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and taking over and having some fun. And that, I think, essentially, like, whatever I can double or triple dip in, like whatever I can do that's going to reward me with as many different avenues. And so Zaznor, whatever the hell, Zador. Brian tries to pronounce
and some consonants, starts with a Z.
We're gonna rename the channel.
A lot of points in Scrabble.
Let's rename the channel. Brian tries to pronounce Final Fantasy terms and fails like that.
Did you see the raid name? It's got like too many vowels in it. There's no way
I saw you try
right.
to pronounce it, and I just gave up. I was like, all right, new raid, new content, and that's exciting because it's a 48-man. So honestly, when I look at it, it's like, I think I'm going to look at just kind of plugging away a little bit each and every week. Follow their advice. Don't try to consume it all in May and June. Literally just be like, cool. Like, all right, going to chip away. I know I have an endpoint. I know the data's for me, like when we look at just talking behind the scenes, like going on vacation, doing these things, like, okay, cool. Like, how do we manage both the content, stream, and play and making time for games? And I'm like, all right, like, yeah, I'll just chip away at it a little bit. Also, the other side of it is Blue Mage, just looking at what I can chip away in regards to that. The biggest event in my mind coming up is the cross data center. I think the fact that when that gets turned on and we get to play with people who are like, man, I'm sorry I'm on Primal, I'm sorry I'm on Crystal, I'm sorry I'm on Light, I'm sorry I'm on Dark, like what, like all the different zones. Oh, I'm sorry I moved to the Oceanic servers. Like, it's like, great, we can start bringing, and I think really bring the community more so together than it has been before. So I think when we look at this when we look at this year going forward, it's going to be a beast of a year for Final Fantasy XIV. And honestly, I can't wait. Like, I'm really, really looking forward to seeing where we go from here.
It's exciting. We're gonna get to a lot of stuff. We made a video about Summoner where I came at it from a job changes standpoint, because I said at the beginning of the video, like, I don't know Summoner. So, like, I am speaking from that point of view. I'm not the only person in the community that doesn't know Summoner, so there's probably somebody that saw that video and goes, yeah, I kind of feel that way. But for the mass majority of people that clicked on it and saw Summoner in the title, they're like, dude, then why are you talking? And so since that video was filmed, I've put 10 levels on Summoner. I'm not done. Like, we got 40 more to go. So I look forward to capping more jobs. For me, it's a question of how far can I whittle that armory chest down. I want shared sets of max level characters in as many roles as possible, attacking whole roles. It's an armory chest is the goal. That armory space is the objective. And then Lama Todd, I reached out to him behind the scenes and said, like, hey, like, what would it take to try out something a little more difficult with a job? What would I need to be doing? And then of course he calls me out in stream and is like, well, let's go do it.
Let's go.
Let's go do it. Maybe let's get you in some real content. He was polite. He didn't say real content, but
all right. Well, guys, be tuning in. Chris might be trying to step up. And
we got time. He said we got time. What's your excuse, man? We got time.
We got time. So that's gonna be exciting to see. I can't wait to see you bash your head against the wall. And hopefully get it clear. That would be exciting. I know that it is really feeling that feeling.
It has to be more progress than Housing Savage. I lost 2 more houses on stream. I finished the Kugane jump puzzle with more success during FanFest than the Housing Savage.
That's true. All right, guys. That's just kind of our thoughts. We'd love to know yours. Keep those comments coming. We like reading. I really enjoy reading y'all's comments, especially over this last weekend. It's been exciting to see what you guys are excited about. Overall, keep it awesome. Just like, if there's, what are you doing? I guess that's a great way to end this video. What are your plans for the next 6 months? Like, are you going to just consume it all real quickly? Are you going to bounce into a couple other games? There's no really wrong answer. It's all about having fun and playing games. So just let us know. But we're going to wrap up this video for Work to Game. My name is Brian.
My name's Chris.
Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you have a fantastic day, and we hope to see you in our next one. But until then,
take care.